Welcome to Extraordinary Women 2019. I'm Robin Christofferson, Executive Director of MCVP Crisis and Prevention Center. MCVP is thrilled to once again have the good fortune to be part of recognizing women in our community who are doers. The poet Marge Piercy said, "A strong woman is a woman determined to do something others are determined not be done." MCVP was founded by a group of women in our community in 1978 who were determined to do something about domestic violence. As you can imagine, there were others who were determined to have something not be done. Nonetheless, the founding mothers persisted. Fast forward 40 years later, and we are still supporting survivors of domestic and sexual violence, and we're also determined to prevent them. Child sexual abuse prevention programming is one of our primary goals. With me today to talk more about those efforts are Katrina Nugent, MCVP's Education and Community Outreach Coordinator, and one of the women being recognized this year, Janine LeClaire, Wellness Coordinator and Integration Specialist at Monadnock Regional Middle High School.
Our goal with prevention education is to truly change the social norms of our community by no longer allowing space for behaviors that contribute to violence. The Healthy Relationships Project is a comprehensive abuse prevention program that does just that. It's a three-pronged approach that provides training for educators and administrators and parents and caregivers while still providing developmentally targeted social and emotional learning for kids ages 3 to 14. With the Healthy Relationships Project, we are wrapping each child with protective factors and supplying adults with the tools they need to prevent abuse. When we think about the numbers of sexual abuse, it's terrifying, right? 1 in 6 boys and 1 in 4 girls will be affected by sexual violence in some way before they're even adults. And every day in my time with MCVP, there is a child who has been affected by sexual violence or a parent who experienced it as a child and is now thanking us for giving them tools to better protect their own children. A lot of the information surrounding sexual abuse and its prevention is misguided or inaccurate and really just ineffective. The Health Relationships Project is research-based and employs evidence-based concepts to prevent abuse. And we offer this program completely free of charge. All we need are more partners like Janine. So please consider advocating for the Health Relationships Project to come to your town, your school, your civic or your community group.
I have had the honor of being in education for 25 years in the Monadnock Regional School District. My first 18 years, I was an elementary teacher. I am currently the Wellness Coordinator and Integration Specialist for the middle high school. I began working in the high school as the Remediation Coordinator, which is working with students from grades 9 through 12 to bring them to their grade levels in reading, writing, and math. While there, I noticed students were not present or relating very well to one another throughout the school. I have always believed in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Before I could get anyone anywhere, I needed to address the well-being of students in our school. I approached our administration to begin a focus group. Myself and 3 colleagues began surveying staff and students for their input. I contacted Monadnock Center for Violence Prevention as they had assisted me in the past through a very difficult time in my life with domestic violence. They navigated me through that time, and I looked to them for guidance in bringing their educational programs to our schools. Through meeting with their education coordinator, we began with their Healthy Relationships program. This gave our entire school common language and understanding of what a healthy relationship is. MCVP and I met with each student in the middle and high school in their What I Need groups. From the success of this program, we've continued working together to empower our school community's emotional and physical safety. I like to say that MCVP has assisted us in making uncomfortable topics comfortable. I'd like lastly to express my pleasure and appreciation for this partnership and the immeasurable benefits MCVP has brought to our students, staff, administration, and families. And I'd like to end with a quote from Helen Keller: "Alone we can do so little, and together we can do so much."
Marge Piercy also wrote the poem, "To Be of Use." It always reminds me of this event and the women we recognize in our community as doers. It begins with, "The people I love the most jump into work head first, without dallying in the shallows, and swim off with sure strokes, almost out of sight. Today, we bring 12 women back into our sightline, 12 determined women who have swum back to shore momentarily so that we can thank them for making our community a better place. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, it's time to meet this year's extraordinary women.
Women are very hard on themselves, very hard. And when they come in, I tease them and I'm like, oh, we can't talk like that in here. You know, we gotta talk positive. It's uplifting for them, and it is for me, because they come in, they're upset, they're sad, they're down on themselves, and I put them in a brand new bra or a nice outfit, whatever it may be, and they're so excited, they feel so much better. I, for a long time, wanted to donate to a good cause. When they told me how much they did for women, it's homeless shelters, it could be evacuees, it could be women and girls that are being saved from sex trafficking. It's been awesome, and it feels good because you know you're really helping.
The most rewarding thing about giving back to this community is seeing that your actions have an effect that can be positive and helpful. When you see that you're making a difference feeding people at the community kitchen, or when you see that the fundraising that you're doing for Monadnock Family Services helps people that can't have the services that they need without that funding, or when you're involved with RSVP and you're doing blood drives or helping kids learn to read or mentoring people, all of those things have a positive impact that's helpful. And that's just satisfying. There's nothing like seeing a positive effect from even a small thing that you do.
I started as downtown coordinator back in May, and what I love about it is I started being able to do a lot of my community service through what I was doing here. I get to do wall dogs, I get to do the downtown group still, I can incorporate Rotaract and things that I'm doing. I get to be more involved, so it just works out better. The most rewarding thing about giving back to the community is that you learn a little something about yourself when you're doing it. You also get to meet a lot of really great people in the process. This past June, when I volunteered for Wall Dogs, I worked with a whole different group of volunteers than I've ever worked with. And the people that I have met will leave a lasting impression in me. They make me want to do it more.
I value the communities that I've lived in, and I want to be part of them. And in some cases, I've seen things, I suppose, that are happening that I want to make a difference in. And the way to make a difference in a community is to volunteer. I can't live in a community without contributing, because I'm taking advantage of all the beauty of the community, of the people who are there, all of the things the town has to offer, and I need to give back. I will have welcomed the opportunities I've had. And yes, I like being a leader. I would not be honest if I didn't say that I enjoy every minute of it, even the headaches that you have. And there are always headaches in being a leader, because you cannot ever please everybody, but you can listen to everybody.
You just learn so much, and you just feel so good by being able to assist others and educate them and help them gain control over their lives by knowledge that they can get from you. And this has been a wonderful community for me, and it always felt good to be able to help whoever it was I might be working with or want to work with. A group of us got together and founded what was then called the Women's Crisis Center, and is now the Monadnock Center for Violence Prevention. Back in the 1980s, when we became quite aware of domestic violence and the number of women in this community and throughout the country and throughout the world probably who were being abused, and we wanted to have them aware that did not have to live under those situations.
What I love the most about my job is working with first-time new home buyers and customers that are looking to refinance their mortgage. And by helping the first-time home buyers finance and find the home of their dreams. It's a large investment. It's one of the biggest investments of their lifetime. So to be able to have that come to fruition and have them hold the keys to their first home, that's a priceless feeling. The reason why I joined the Keene Lions Club was to give back to the community. And by doing that, I was able to help children and people in the area with their eyesight and hearing needs. To me, being able to help a child be able to read, which is a huge developmental piece for them, And to be able to know that I was able to help that child is another priceless feeling for me.
The greatest joy of my life was to have the privilege of being a teacher. So I taught women's lit, I taught creative writing, I taught AP English, but I also taught what they call foundations, which is the lower academic level. I loved those classes. And one girl told me, this is the first English class I wasn't afraid to go to. Diversity Day started with the idea that many of my students knew other cultures existed, and they knew there were some people that didn't look like them, but they didn't know any of the details which would eventually lead to what they had in common and also what was different. And when I proposed it, they got all excited and they set up booths in this big room. Some of them even made food that they gave out. The kids were proud and it was all them.
I work with community members and our school to create some different programs to help with drug awareness and prevention, with health, those kind of things that we're bringing into the school. So it gives me a lot of freedom to bring in a lot of things to work within our school staff, the experts in our staff, plus with a program that we have an outside community members to come in and do things with us. It's really been rewarding to see people that now we're able to do, whether it's yoga, meditation, drug awareness and prevention, relationships with ourselves and others, media literacy, bringing all these things into, it's just a nice weaving together, I think, of wellness and education. You may never know the benefits of teaching or how you touch someone's lives, but they certainly touch mine. So I like the give and the take.
When I'm home prepping for a dance or a theater class or prepping a scene, it's kind of like trying to build the Millennial Falcon out of Legos without the Legos. And then you walk into the class and I talk to them about how they're my Legos and now I get to build. And sometimes the thing that I build is a completely different thing than what I thought I was going in to do. And it's pretty awesome. It's always better. They'll make a step mistake, but it's better than what I'd planned. I enjoy teaching now because I can work with my students more so. I've learned to trust this artistic process and it's so fun. It's so much more fun.
I am pleased to work for Antioch University where our mission is social justice. In every aspect of my life, my personal life, my professional life, I seek to be of help to others, whether it's as a strategic partner, as general counsel, whether it's running town meeting, whether it's volunteering at the community kitchen or picking up trash on our roadways. Being able to help others is fundamental to my values.
I feel that is my superpower, that to take a seat at the table when they're discussing big energy policy issues or educational policy issues or issues about people who experience disabilities. Back in my first joining the Air Force and studying engineering, some of it was thinking about myself as a woman and that women needed to be given the right to try these things. And so I think that's what helped me overcome the, you're not wanted here. It was that sense of justice, the sticking with the idea and remembering why you're doing something, what your vision is. I've found that it pays off.
The reason I write about barrier breakers and people who are change makers is it's very personal to me, as breaking a barrier in sports, a gender barrier, being the first woman to cover an NHL broadcast on national television. So I've realized that barrier breakers give us a template of what's possible in life, and I think that's really important for young readers. Facing the gender discrimination that I did, I had the mentality back then to suck it up, and now I'm really feeling and knowing that being quiet can be interpreted as acceptance, and that's wrong. Speaking out, having voices be heard, and seeing people as human beings is what is important in society. So I'm not silent about that anymore, and I'm not silent about issues that I feel really strongly about.